You are not a failure. And just because you messed up one or two times, even 1,000 times, it doesn't mean everything's over and your life's set in the way it is. And this is something that I think is so important for everyone to hear, regardless if you struggle with this topic or not. Because nowadays the world is so noisy. It seems to push out this idea every other second that if you're not a millionaire by the age of 18 or 17 at this point, you failed at life. You haven't achieved a certain social status or a rank on social media, that you're not going to get anywhere. And this is something that a lot of people don't understand. Is it's as simple as everyone has their own path, right? And I know a lot of people struggle with this because at a few points I have myself. It's hard when you have dedicated your time, what feels like your life, to a certain thing, whether that be school, business, sports, and something doesn't work out or go in your favor. Yet, through those struggles, there's always a blessing, right? And I know that's so cliche to say, and it's hard to hear, especially if you're dealing with something bad, because it feels like you'll never get out of it. But I'm trying to step away from that cliche, and I'm trying to get specific with what I mean by this. Now, there's a lot of people, and I'll give some examples. There's some people who have spent their whole life trying to make a business work and it didn't. There's some people who've grown up in rough neighborhoods who have had to turn to drug dealing, right? There's been people who their parents neglected them, and they've had no choice in life but to indulge in something that's not really great for themselves. And I'm going to say, if you're one of those people, I'm sorry for you, and I don't think anyone should have to deal with that, right? And this is one thing that's always on my mind that I always want to speak about, because I want to help people who deal with these struggles. Is there's people who end up in bad situations, whether it's their choice or not, who feel like they've dug this hole so deep they can't get out of it, who they sit and think at nighttime, staring at their ceiling, saying, what have I done? How do I get out of this? I've been at that point a couple times, and I've done some things I regret, right? But the truth is, you haven't failed. You haven't failed yourself. You haven't failed your family. You haven't failed your friends. You haven't failed anybody because you messed up a couple times. And without failure, there could be no true success, no true lesson that you would gain from life in general. And so the message I really want to speak to everyone watching this video, whether it's one person, 2 people, 10 people, 1,000, is continue to push, continue to be resilient, continue to keep trying. Whether you are pursuing being a doctor and you failed an exam, keep going, keep trying, because you're not a failure because you messed up. Okay. And again, I know I'm repeating myself. I know I might sound cliche at some points, but the reason I'm speaking so emphatically on this topic is because it matters so much to me. Because I've been in that spot where I felt like there was nowhere to turn. I had nobody around me to help out with these struggles, and I've just come to realize it doesn't matter what you've dealt with, what you're dealing with, what you're going through, how bad of something you've done. You're never too far gone to redeem yourself. You're never too far gone to continue to work hard, right? And there's thousands of stories in the world of people not achieving something, but they just continue to push, right? And again, this is, I guess a bit of this message could go out to myself as well, because, and I'm sure a lot of you are dealing with this too, if you're watching this, if a lot of people are watching this at all. I just started this channel, but my point is, I've been in a spot where I've had so much work to do, and I never feel like I have enough time to go outside, have fun. I think to myself, what if this goes wrong? What if this isn't the right path? What about it? So what? Your business didn't work out, so what? Your schooling didn't work out, so what? Your sports didn't work out, it didn't work out for me either, okay? And you're not a failure because of it. Everyone has their different path. And I think it's too often that we as people assume that just because we find enjoyment in one thing, it's our path. Or just because you saw someone on social media, do something and become wealthy doing it, that should be your path too, because they relate to you and all this, whatnot. But the truth is, everyone is different. Everyone has their personalities. Okay. My personality, I've always thought to myself, I want to be as authentic as possible. I want to be the most authentic person ever. I love helping people. That's me. But who are you? What are you good at? Okay, I've failed at so many things. And you might have too. Maybe you haven't. But my point is, throughout this all, that the world pushes out this idea so heavily that you need to succeed. If you fail one time, it's done. Oh, you can't mess up. But the people who've built this world, the people who are on top of the world right now, your favorite sport player, your favorite tech entrepreneur, all of them failed massively at one point, received heavy criticism, but they continue to push. And so my point is, no matter what weight is on your shoulder, just keep trying. Just keep trying a little bit. Because if you were to step back and quit what you're passionate about, what you're good at, what you've been gifted to do by the Lord, if you step back and say, hey, maybe another time, you might regret it. The hard work that it takes to stand back up and to continue pushing, you're not going to regret that, because you won't even remember that feeling in a week, in a day, in an hour. I've felt this when I've had to do 12-hour days of schoolwork, when I've had to deal with family struggles, personal struggles. And that's one thing that I've always come back to is, I'm not going to regret the hard work. Even if I don't win, even if I don't become wealthy off of something, even if I didn't get to the point I wanted to, I'm not going to regret the hard work, because it taught me something. And most people are going to maybe think that they wasted their time working on something because they're so focused on a materialistic prize at the end. Oh, I spent a year working on this business, I didn't become a millionaire, it didn't work out. What about the lessons it taught you? What about the knowledge you gained from others? What about the connections you were able to make? What's it really about? Because when your head's laid down in the casket in the grave, nobody's going to talk about your failure at business. They're going to talk about how hard you tried, and that's the truth. They're going to talk about how hard you tried. Hey, he attempted this. He tried this. He spent so much time working on this. And so, again, this has been on my mind for so long that there's a lot of people out there right now, maybe you included, where you're in a rough spot. You don't know how you're going to get out of it. And you really don't feel like there's any other way to succeed. If that's the case, I just ask you to do one thing. That is just try one more day. Just try one more day. After you try tomorrow, try the day after that. Try for the next week. Try for the next month. And you're going to see these days compound over time. And you're not going to regret the hard work that you've put into it. Because if you truly value the knowledge you gain, rather than the materialistic things that you get from succeeding, or what the world considers to be success, you're not going to learn any real lessons. So to anybody who's out there in a rough spot, who's even watched this video, anybody who grew up in a rough neighborhood, you're stuck selling drugs. Anybody who grew up with parents who neglected them, you're lost. You don't know what to do. Anyone who grew up in what they think is a normal life or a wealthy life, what people may consider blessed, but they faced a lot of struggles behind closed doors. All of you means something. It's like a 1 in a trillion chance that you're here on this earth. So it does mean something. So again, my message, my final message, I know it's been a long video, is just keep trying. Just keep trying, because you haven't failed just because you messed up once or twice. Failure only occurs when you quit. And until you quit, you're going to keep working hard. You're going to be seen as resilient, hardworking, determined. So just keep working. You don't know how to get out of that divot? Sit down, get a paper, write the goals you want. Then under each goal, write down how you think you can get it. Of course, I'd hope you do so morally rather than, achieving these goals by doing some crazy things. But you get my point, okay? If you're watching this video and I don't know you, okay, just know I do value you, okay? And it's hard to believe, but if you comment on a video, if you see me in person, I have like 0 subscribers, but if you see me in person, I value you and I have love for you. So just continue pushing, and just know your story's special. My story's different than yours. My struggles are different than yours. But at the end of the day, we're all human. We all bleed the same. And because of that, you matter and you have a purpose. So continue trying to find that. That's all I wanted to say today.